Hello. I know you're here to listen to the introduction of Grounded Wildness, and I promise we will get there in just a minute. But before we do, I want to share an update that both has nothing to do with Grounded Wildness and everything to do with Grounded Wildness. So I recorded this podcast 2 days ago, and I was really tired. I was really tired, but I thought it would be okay. I was kind of riding this high after a speaking engagement because I always get like a whole burst of energy, even if I'm like tired on a deeper level after a speaking engagement. And I thought it would be okay. And I wasn't nervous. I don't usually get nervous to record these podcasts, but my whole body was tight. And it was tight, and I was exhausted from the last 2 months of my life, to be honest. And these have all been like these last 2 months have been great in so many ways. And so many big, huge things have happened. Like I bought a house, I moved, I had a whole bunch of speaking engagements. I launched the pre-sale of Grounded Wildness, so putting it out into the world for the first time, this thing that I've been working on for over 2 years, well over 2 years, almost three. And those are big things. And I've been sleeping enough, but I haven't had the space and rest that I've needed. It was like all of a sudden this week, the last 2 months just smacked me in the face and caught up with me. And when you listened, like so I recorded that episode 2 days ago, and then I listened to it yesterday, and you could tell like the entire thing felt forced. Like I was pushing something out of me, which is, let me tell you, not the energy I want to portray when I'm reading the introduction of Grounded Wildness, because Grounded Wildness is kind of the opposite feeling of forcing in the body. It's more like open and relaxed and flowing. So I'm here today to record again. And in the short 48 hours since I recorded last, things have slowed down and I have created some space for myself. I went to a full moon circle last night, which was really fun. It's mostly about reflection and connecting back into yourself. And I ate a dinner outside on my patio on Wednesday night. And yeah, I've had some more space and I need more of it. I know I'm not burned out. I don't need months of space, but I need some space to recover from the last 2 months so that I don't get burned out. And I'm sharing this, I think, for a couple reasons. One, mostly because like I talk about creating space and slowing down and giving yourself permission to do less. And I feel like in the last 2 months, I have done the best that I could do with all of that. And I'm still in this place of like, okay, now I need to make that decision. I really need to create some space so that I don't get further disconnected from myself or going down that route of burnout. So like even if you are doing what you can do, there's still going to be times when there's more going on than what you can logically or you have the capacity to really process. And I think in those times, it's noticing that and then coming back to yourself and creating that space as quickly as you can, knowing that in the moment it's happening, it may or may not be possible, but it also can't take forever. Like you can't keep going on at that pace forever. So do the best you can and also give yourself space as soon as you can. And there is a chapter in the section in Grounded Wildness. There's a couple of parts at the beginning, and then there's kind of the second half of the book, which is really part 4, but it's the second half from a number of pages standpoint. It's called Getting Grounded and Wild. And in that section, the very first chapter is called Create Space, because it is the foundational practice for everything else. Like when you create space for yourself, it's when you can come back to yourself, listen to your voice. It's the gateway to trusting yourself and knowing who you are and following aliveness and reclaiming yourself and taking up space and all of these other things. But you need that space first. And it is about creating it, because I think we all know it's not going to drop into your lap and just get placed there. It's about creating it for yourself. So I wanted to share that. And now we'll get into the introduction of Grounded Wildness, because the pre-sale is on. It is available at my website, which is heatherwhelpley.com/grounded wildness, which we will put a link in the show notes. And I want you to get a feel for what this book is really about. So you can hear the words word for word and see if it's the right feel for you. And this is not like an excerpt from my audiobook. I will have an audiobook, but I haven't recorded that yet. So this is not going to be perfect. I'm quite literally flipping over to a Word document right now and reading it. So it won't be perfect, but this is the introduction to Grounded Wildness. It's my favorite picture ever taken of me. I'm 8 years old. It's 1988 and I look 1988. I'm wearing a head-to-toe pastel pink sweatsuit adorned with a large red satin heart across the chest. My naturally stick-straight brown hair is growing out a perm, creating uneven waves across my bangs and shoulder-length locks. My mom had recently decided I would be more comfortable if I didn't have to tuck my hair behind my ears to keep it from getting in my face, so the sides of my growing out perm are shaved off, and I'm sporting a mullet. I'm looking directly at the camera, my blue eyes shining at the lens. I have a calm yet slightly audacious smile on my face. My arm is stretched out to the camera, and I'm holding a live snake. This is no minuscule garter snake. Its camouflage checked body winds through the air 3 or 4 feet in front of me. My right hand grips the snake lightly just below its head, while its tail wraps around my left hand as an anchor. I look at this girl and see someone who knows exactly who she is. She's confident, bold, and relaxed. There's no distance between who she is on the inside and the person she's presenting to the world. She has nothing to hide, cover up, or shove down. She's taking up the full space of who she is. This little girl is me. I'm the girl, now a woman, who looks straight at the camera with a smile on her face while holding a live snake. That's me. I lost her for a long time. Maybe lost is too strong a word. It's more like she got buried under an avalanche of rules that told me to hold my breath and tuck myself in. These rules commanded me to quiet the boldness of my voice and dampen the fire in my belly. They made it clear I should be ashamed of the larger body I inhabited throughout my teen and young adult years. They guided me to shove down the big emotions I felt, put a smile on my face, and keep going. They ordered me to prove my worth through productivity, achievement, likability, and a million other forms of external validation. Then I woke up. I started to break the rules. That journey began with severing the ties between my worth and achievement. My first book, An Overachiever's Guide to Breaking the Rules, How to Let Go of Perfect and Live Your Truth, details the story of this initial awakening. For the first time, I saw clearly all the messages, stories, and rules I'd been handed that had told me I always had to work harder and do more, and realized I could choose to let go of those rules. These realizations were huge. It's not an exaggeration to say they changed my life. Little did I know that was just the beginning. Another level of realizations and rule breaking was on the horizon and about to split open my entire world. I was about to become a woman living in grounded wildness. Grounded wildness is the wholeness you rediscover when you break the rules that have broken you and the inevitable freedom that follows. You stand wild in your freedom because you are grounded in your worth. You get to stop performing your life and start living it. My journey into grounded wildness has been a pilgrimage to break away from the suffocating rules that kept me small and tight and to reclaim my freedom. It's a kind of freedom that doesn't require achievement, validation, or compliance, but rather lives deep inside me, inside all of us. This freedom allows me to feel every emotion I'm experiencing, from the joy of laughing with total abandon to an overflowing river of grief. It lets me get on stage and say the thing that needs to be said rather than worrying if I'm pushing too hard or upsetting the status quo too much. It lets me go on a date without feeling like I have to perform and prove that I'm fun and desirable. It allows me to be my own guide rather than looking toward the rules to tell me how I should look, speak, show up, and generally live my life. Grounded wildness has opened the door for the little girl holding the snake to come back to life. Only now that little girl has grown up. She's a truer version of herself because she's broken through the rules handed to her and made up her own rules for life. She knows she is whole, complete, and even radiant without having to do anything at all. No proving, pleasing, or perfecting needed. I want this for you as well. Parts of this book will make you feel happy and light. Other parts will make you uncomfortable. You'll recognize the rules that have kept you performing and be reminded of your own wildness. You might cry. You'll probably laugh. Questions will arise. You'll have new realizations. I encourage you to stay awake for it all, to feel everything you're feeling without judgment. When something gets uncomfortable, sit with that discomfort and listen for the messages it's sending you. When something gives you joy, grant yourself full permission to wrap yourself in that joy and feel it in your soul. This is all part of living in grounded wildness. This book is broken into 4 parts. The first 3 detail my journey from losing my young wildness through many years of relentless performing, and finally to the breaks that led me to escape the rules, rediscover myself, and move into the freedom of grounded wildness. As you read my story, you'll be prompted to reflect on your journey. I invite you to spend time on these exercises. This book isn't about me. It's about you. Only you can uncover your story and reclaim your freedom. The 4th and final part is called Getting Grounded and Wild. It outlines practices to guide you toward grounded wildness and stay there. You'll learn how to create space for yourself, feel your feelings, follow your aliveness, trust your knowing, let your body lead, claim yourself, and take up space. You'll also discover how to deal with the people who don't get it or who straight up disapprove, and find your grounded wildness community of people who do. Even though I present practices for you to try, this isn't a precise how-to book, and that's on purpose. I can't tell you exactly how grounded wildness looks and feels for you. I can't give you a 10-point process to check off that will guarantee your success. You can't hack your way into your own freedom. Your path to grounded wildness is a continual journey. I regularly discover new rules I had no idea were living inside me. Old ones also occasionally pop up and require me to slow down, reconnect to myself, and consciously let them go again. And yet, I'm experiencing a freedom I didn't know was possible a few years ago. I feel that freedom coursing through my veins, enlivening my body, heart, mind, and soul. I've stopped hiding in the shadows of myself and stepped into the light. You can too. Let's get started. That's the introduction. If you feel something right now inside of you, I encourage you to head over to the Grounded Wildness site, heatherwhelpley.com/grounded wildness and get your copy of Grounded Wildness, because that stirring, that feeling inside of you, that means something. It means there's something there to explore. There's a pull. And just even listening to that pull is a part of Grounded Wildness. It's a part of trusting yourself over the voices around you, trusting yourself over the rules you have been handed, trusting yourself over validation from external people and sources, and sometimes general society, not even any one human, but looking towards your own inner voice, letting go of any shame that has disconnected you from yourself and coming back into your own worth. This is what that journey into Grounded Wildness has been for me, has been letting go of the shame that kept me from my own wholeness and my own wildness and my own radiance, or believing in it. And finally knowing that those things were all true, that we are all, me and you, whole, complete, enough, and yes, even radiant. The rules don't give you anything. They just take you away from your own radiance. And becoming grounded in yourself allows for that freedom and that wildness. And that's what Grounded Wildness is all about. So head over there and get your pre-sale copy. And when you do, there's all sorts of fun benefits happening in May. If you're listening to this after May, it's still going to be for sale, but these are the benefits in May. Most importantly, 10% of the proceeds for the entire month of May are going to go to the Women's Empowerment Conference for high school girls in Colorado. And I spoke at this conference in March, and it's amazing. And I think the coolest thing about it is it's not like a whole bunch of adults. No one's forcing these kids to go. Like, they put it on themselves. And yes, they have support from their teachers at school. I've no doubt they have a good amount of support and guidance. And they really put on the conference. Like, my contact, I did not talk to a single teacher or other adult until the day I got to the conference. So my contact was a high school senior, and she was amazing. So 10% of all the proceeds are going to go to that conference. You'll also be entered into a drawing to win a free 60-minute one-on-one coaching session with me to get coached on whatever you want to get coached on. It could be a career challenge or something at work, or how to say no and set boundaries and create more space for yourself, or really any challenge that you're facing. I'm going to pick 3 winners, and those will be announced in June. So you don't have to wait for the book to come out to get to cash that one in. You can cash it in June. You'll also get the book a full 2 weeks before anyone else when it comes out in the fall. And you'll get an invite to a virtual exclusive Q&A and interview with me after the book comes out. So you can ask me any questions you want to about the book, about how it applies to you, about my writing process, just anything you're curious about. Like, no holds barred. You can ask me anything. So that's what this is all about. So if you're feeling any of that, if you're wanting to get in on the Grounded Wildness and feel some of this yourself, if you want to move towards your own version of Grounded Wildness, go to heatherwhelpley.com right now /grounded wildness and get the book. And then share this episode with a woman who needs it as well, who you feel like would connect with what I shared in the introduction, who also, there's some simmering there of wildness beneath the surface, because you feel it yourself. You have your own version of the little girl holding the snake. And I'm guessing you have another woman, or maybe many women in your life who you see that simmering of their version of the little girl holding the snake beneath the surface, just dying to get back out. So send that to her as well. And in the meantime, cheers to getting grounded and wild and feeling that freedom coursing through your veins as well. Bye.